Welcome everybody, YouTubers and Doctor Who fanatics, to a Big Finish audio review. But not just any Big Finish audio review. I will be taking a look at the recently released The 10th Doctor Adventures Volume 1, featuring Technophobia, Time Reaver and Death and the Queen. If you want to skip the showcasing of this release, I'm going to go straight to the review, then there's the time down below. But if you want to just see reviews for only Technophobia, Time Reaver or Death and the Queen, those times will be in the description. So, let's begin the video of The 10th Doctor Adventures Volume 1. So for the showcasing of the 10th Doctor Adventures, we have David Tennant, the 10th Doctor by there, Donna Noble, the TARDIS, a nice light effect in the background with electricity, the castle in the background featured in Death and the Queen with Death, the planet Calibris, and we do have these metal designs around the cover as well, with Gully by here. And then the standard stuff, showcasing the main cast, David Tennant and Catherine Tate, the Doctor Who logo, 10th Doctor Adventures Volume 1, 3 full cast audio adventures featuring Technophobia, Time Reaver and Death and the Queen, with the Big Finish logo down below. For the side of this limited edition release, we have the Doctor Who logo, the TARDIS, bit of electricity, the 10th Doctor Adventures and the Big Finish logo down by there. And at the back we have the standard showcasing by here, directed by Nicholas Briggs, a bio on each of the stories with Technophobia, Time Reaver and Death and the Queen. A brief sentence here that the limited special edition includes a behind the scenes disc and an exclusive Big Finish documentary disc. And then we have the information down by here, 300 minutes approx, and my limited edition number is 1413. So inside the set, the front page has the TARDIS by here and then printing the front cover again. Next page is a nice picture montage of the 3 stories, then featuring first story, Technophobia. Next we have notes by Dan Starkey, a picture of David Tennant and Catherine Tate, preceding by notes by Terry Malloy, a montage of Technophobia with notes by Matt Fitton, the writer of the story, same thing with Time Reaver, then notes by the writer, and then the same thing done with Death and the Queen with notes by James Goss. Next we have an image of the brilliant David Tennant with the TARDIS and these metal designs by here, nice light effect, and notes by the director Nicholas Briggs. Then an image of Catherine Tate, and then notes by the producer David Richardson. Then we move on to behind the scenes pictures, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, which is the cast from Technophobia, next which is the cast from Time Reaver, 2 the supporting characters from Death and the Queen who played the Queen's mum, and then Alan Cox who played Death in Death and the Queen. Next is a picture of the cast from Death and the Queen. Then we have cast information and production credits. Then proceeding to a nice montage that is very well designed. Then we have the front cover by there again with Death and the Queen disc. Then we have the documentary disc. And then lastly featuring the audio adventures of Doctor Who, which didn't really appeal to me, but it will to new fans to Big Finish. Yes, today we are reviewing the 10th Doctor Adventures. It's been a really hyped up release for obvious reasons, because the 10th Doctor is now a part of the wonderful Big Finish production. The 6th Doctor's last adventure was the big release in 2015, and this one is the big release for 2016. Of course, everybody has been talking about this, and yeah, it's absolutely lovely to hear David Tennant and Catherine Tate playing their characters again. They did say it took quite some time to get back in the mood to it, which makes a lot of sense, but still their performances are absolutely wonderful in this set. And it really is a huge delight to hear these two back again. And I will say this for a strong positive straight away with this set, I do want to check back on Series 4, the new series, because most of those stories in Series 4 I've only watched once, and that was an original transmission. And this set really made me go back in time to Series 4 of the new series, and most people do consider Series 4 to be the best series of the new series. But yeah, as you know, I'm more of a classic fan, but I have to be lying through my teeth if I was saying I wasn't looking forward to this set, because of course I was looking forward to this. So yeah, the set has 3 stories, Technophobia, Time Reaver and Death of the Queen. These are all 1-hour stories, and in this video I'll be reviewing all of them. How I will structure this video, I first review Technophobia, then move on to the next story, then Death of the Queen, then do my overall conclusion. then I would rate it out of 10 and then do my overall final rating, which I rate it as a full total. Here it's 3 stories, so it would be out of 30. So with no further ado, let's begin the review, starting with Technophobia by Matt Fitton. So yes, Technophobia by Matt Fitton, a very good Big Finish regular. He's done some fantastic classics for Big Finish, such as Crisscross from the monthly range, Stage Fright from The Last Adventure, The 11 from Doom Coalition. He did very well with the second half of Dark Eyes 2. So he's been with Big Finish for a few years, but he's definitely done some classics and made a name for himself. And Technophobia was the story I was most looking forward to out of this set because I do love Matt Fitton's work a lot. I also love James Goss's work a lot as well. Yeah, the sound of Technophobia by Matt Fitton, it just literally drew me in. I said, yeah, this has to be the best from the set. I really do love cyberpunk sort of stories. Out of all the stories in this set, this one, it feels like it really does belong in Series 4. I can see this one work as a TV story. It's that well done. Picturing the story, the premise, the ideas, the setting, I can really see this one working as a TV story. So Matt Fitton did incredible with this one. I wasn't really surprised this one turned out to be a really good one, as I do love Matt Fitton's work. Yeah, Matt Fitton here has definitely created a really good cyber technology story. Has a good sense of realism to it, with technology taking over the world, as if you know, almost everything is controlled by computer systems, and this will show you what the world would be like if technology sort of freaks out and people can't keep up with it. And it also comes down to the fact that people aren't using technology right, such as malicious viruses breaking security. That can cause a lot of problems right now. But here, within the story Technophobia, technology is more sophisticated, obviously, so yeah, if technology goes wrong here and people can't keep up with it, then that's going to be some serious problems. Yeah, the premise immediately drew me in, as it's got a little bit of realism to it, that people are the problem for technology going crazy. And that sort of happened not too long ago on the Big Finish website, didn't it? Servers crashing due to download traffic. Maybe that's a sign. Anyway, let's move on. Yes, characters, straight away the main cast, I absolutely fell in love with them. It felt like they never left the role, even though they did state it took some time for them to get comfortable, which makes a lot of sense, but it feels like to me it feels like they've got into the mood of playing their roles almost immediately. The 10th Doctor is right in the story, right into the action, with fun dialogue and trying to calm and fix the situation. The 10th Doctor, David Tennant, it is so wonderful to hear him on audio and back playing the Doctor again with more adventures. It's like what I say with the 4th Doctor back, it feels so great hearing these Doctors again. And yeah, Donna as well brings absolutely wonderful dialogue, as she did in the TV series of Series 4 and the Christmas special. Always brings such witty dialogue, such as when she's seen the events taking place in Technophobia, she's thinking it's a little bit like Terminator, which is quite funny. And yeah, supporting characters can be very easily invested in, such as Jill and Brian. Yeah, his character, he's absolutely petrified with technology. Yeah, Brian's character, I had a lot of sympathy for him, as he feels absolutely petrified with technology taking over. He can't really calm himself in this situation. He's full of nerves, he's terrified. His character acts really neurotic for how afraid he is in the situation, because he's trapped in a lift, and of course that's controlled by a computer system. So that starts freaking out the elevator and he can't get out, so he's screaming for his life. Really well acted. I was much more invested in this story on second listen than first listen. I enjoyed it on first listen, but second listen I was just more invested and connected to the story. And yeah, paid much more attention to it, and I just absolutely loved it from start to finish. You know, the story has a very nice tense feel to it. See the city in chaos, that nothing's working properly, like cash machines, traffic lights, cars. Nothing, because it's all controlled by computers. Yeah, it's quite a scary situation to think of if technology can't be controlled properly by people. Yeah, it's got a really nice tense feeling to it. The premise, it always keeps you hooked. And I enjoyed it a lot more on second listen than first listen. Yeah, Technophobia actually reminds me of another Doctor Who story. It's actually a Doctor Who Virgin New adventure, and it's called Transit by Ben Uranovich. As they do have sort of a similar premise to it. by here transit, there's something which has taken over the transit system, which is not working correctly, and then people start rioting and freaking out that transportation's not working and people rely on it. And here people rely on technology and technophobia, and they start freaking out. So something similar by their similar main premise, because both their main premises sound quite similar to each other, but of course they have their differences. To the monsters of the story, the cognoscenti, and they have like a sort of saying they do: "We are the cognoscenti, you are nothing." They're the good monsters. I can see them working in the TV series, if I'm honest. I can see them working. Their dialogue is very derisive and quite mocking, so I like their dialogue. That was really well done. As the monsters find humanity rather brainless, that they're thinking that they can't really keep a good civilization. They got good voices as well. The leader one sounds a bit like he's singing a little bit, but yeah, really good voices as well, and great lines of dialogue. Yeah, they work a little bit different of how they would invade a planet. There's some tyrants who just go right into the action and kill themselves for honor and glory. Cybermen, they would convert their enemies to keep their numbers growing, to keep themselves a strong fighting force. But the cognoscenti, they more manipulate in the shadows. As I think I remember a line of dialogue where they say just invading a planet is a stupid way of doing it. So you'll see the Sontarans and the cognoscenti working together. It's nice to see monsters that manipulate in the shadows, but they didn't really have any offensive tactics to them. But eventually that did happen. If they're provoked or threatened, they do use more offensive tactics. It ends a little bit sudden for the monsters, the cognoscenti, a little bit sudden, but I don't think it really bothered me. It is a wonderful story nonetheless. So to the conclusion of Technophobia by Matt Fitton. It is a absolutely wonderful story. It's got a fantastic score and sound design to this one. It sounds so superior. Well, that's Big Finish all the time really, but this one, I just really love the sound design. It really just put me into the story. I could picture it so well, and I had the feel of Series 4 to me. If you love cyberpunk stories with technology freaking out, you will absolutely fall in love with the story. I give Matt Fitton's Technophobia a 9 out of 10. He gets a lot of 9 out of 10s, Matt Fitton. He gets a lot of strong ratings, Matt Fitton. He's a great writer. Yeah, brilliant story by Matt Fitton. First listen, I was thinking an 8 out of 10, but with a second listen, I said, yeah, I can move this up to a 9 out of 10. It's a really good story by Matt Fitton. Got a nice bit of realism to it. It's a cyberpunk story. It's my cup of tea. But was it my favourite out of the set? Well, you have to wait and find out. So that was my review of Technophobia by Matt Fitton. Let's move to the second story of the set, Time Reaver. Time Reaver. This one was a pretty interesting story. But at first, when I looked at it, I said, don't know what to expect from this one. And this story feels a lot like a Bernice Summerfield story for me. Like the premise, the setting, the characters, and the villain. It reminds me someone that Bernice Summerfield would face. I'm not sure if anyone else gets that vibe or not, but I just feel Bernice Summerfield would fit in this story instead of the Doctor. That's my personal view on it. Yeah, to explain a little bit more, the story vibes I get from 3 other Doctor Who stories, which are transit with this one, as the planet, Calibris, is actually a huge transportation hub, and Mean Streets I get a vibe from, which is a Bernice Summerfield spin-off book. That's from the characters. There's a lot of smugglers and thugs and criminals in this one. And as well, Gully reminds me of a villain, as I said, Bernice Summerfield would face. This story has got a slower pace than the other 2 stories. Actually, I say Death and the Queen has a somewhat similar pacing to it. This one is the more slower paced one. It takes some time until it actually expands the plot. You know, TARDIS freaks out a little bit and the fluid link breaks, and of course the TARDIS won't work without it. Well, at least the Doctor didn't take it out to explore a city like the First Doctor and put everyone in danger. No, I kid the First Doctor, I love the First Doctor. So this story is called Time Reaver, so I'll explain what Time Reaver is. It's not a spoiler, as it sort of briefly explains it on the back bio of Time Reaver of the set. Yeah, Time Reavers, either it's a Time Reaver gun or bomb, are weapons, or time weapons, which have been outlawed and they are illegal in all the major galaxies. It's because of their devastating and very vile effect of really just torturing people. It's not really a weapon to kill, but to slowly kill. It's more of a torture device. It's a lot like the Time Destructor a little bit, but that kills people more quicker. These Time Reaver bombs or weapons, they do it more slowly. But yeah, how the Time Reaver weapons works, it turns seconds into more longer periods of time. So, for example, 1 second would be like 1 month to someone. Depends what weapon's being used, if it's a gun or a bomb. Either 1 second could go like a year. So yeah, very similar to the Time Destructor, but not as deadly as the Time Destructor, as that can tear planets apart. Yeah, they're more gritty weapons, they are. And I do love the 10th Doctor's reaction to this. His whole attitude just changes, and then he gets really serious as he knows the danger and these vile weapons. And yeah, when you're in pain, when this Time Reaver weapon's being used, you will be in pain all the time until you die. So yeah, pretty vile weapons. This does make you despise Gully, this villain. He's a little bit power hungry, he doesn't even care about the people who are working for him. He just really cares for himself. He's a little bit too power hungry, and you really want to despise this vile octopus monster. And you feel satisfied to say, come on, just die now, you deserve it. In a really painful way, where he's been using these weapons on innocent people. Yeah, the Doctor, he is at his most serious in this story. He's absolutely wonderful. Performances by David Tennant in this one is absolutely wonderful. As I said, he sort of changes his attitude when he knows about the Time Reavers on the planet, as he knows they're being used for malicious intentions, and he really does not muck about the 10th Doctor whatsoever. It is absolutely wonderful to see the Doctor written serious, the 10th Doctor. On my first attempt, I did struggle to get through this story. I just found it very hard to invest into, and I sort of lost my concentration. On my second attempt, I did get through it and I enjoyed it a lot more. I'm not sure why I couldn't really get through it on my first go. I just found it a little bit difficult to concentrate on it and enjoy it. But second go, I enjoyed it a lot more. As the premise, you can really get invested into it, because the premise is actually a very good one and a very unique one as well. Yeah, the premise, when I really just focused onto it, it then drew me in so I can invest in the story. Yeah, my drawback to it, I do find 1 or 2 of the characters a little bit boring and not really used that well. Cora had no connections to, and she was only really a plot device to keep it moving, somehow connected to the Time Reaver bombs. She isn't a villain, but she's moving this Time Reaver plot along. And Roan as well, by Terry Malloy. He was pretty good. He was more ashamed that he was trying to hide what was going on the planet. But the other characters I quite like Soren. He was pretty good as well. And Gully, even though I despised him, I still liked him a lot. That he reminded me of a Beneath Summerfield villain. And yeah, Cora's points of using the Time Reaver bombs for good, I find a little bit nonsensical, I do. Using it to make weddings last longer? I find that a little bit stupid. She doesn't really know the understanding of the Time Reaver bombs and how dangerous they are, and they're actually illegal and outlawed. I guess she doesn't know about that. She does feel like a good, warm-hearted character, but she's a little bit silly with these nonsensical ideas to use the Time Reaver bombs for something good to make weddings last longer. I find that a little bit stupid. I suppose it's got quite some nice tight atmosphere as well, because it's a huge transportation hub, this planet, so it's got a nice echoey atmosphere. However, for Time Reaver, a lot of people say the other stories have more to offer. I disagree with that point, because there is actually quite a lot within Time Reaver, but the other stories, I think they're just better executed. Not that they offer more, but just better executed. Yeah, in conclusion, this one was a very good story, had a nice investing premise to it when I focused on it. Characters, some of them good, some of them a bit boring. Had some nice vibes from the Beneath Summerfield stories like Transit, Mean Streets, and The Greatest Shop in the Galaxy, and Beneath Summerfield stories in general. I give Time Reaver an 8 out of 10. A good story, not my favourite out of the set. It's actually my least favourite out of the set. As I said, it wasn't as well executed as the other two. So either Technophobia is my favourite, or it's Death and the Queen by James Goss. So let's move on to the third story in the set, and the final one, Death and the Queen by James Goss. So, Death and the Queen by James Goss. Now, on my first listen of the set, Death and the Queen was my favourite. But did it change on my second listen? Yeah, something you should know about James Goss, and I find this all the time with his stories. He is very good at balancing out comedy and serious storytelling. And here he nails it. It's got some good, fun dialogue to it, tense Base Hunter Siege moments, and both those elements are utilised very well and balanced out. That's something James Goss is very good at doing, I gotta hand it to him. But yeah, from the introduction of this story, you can tell that this one will be quite of a heavy story for Donna, and the Doctor at times sidelined from the main parts of the story, and that is the case with Death and the Queen, but still the Doctor has some nice fun bits to do, but this story is very much for Donna. Got a lot of stuff here for Donna, which I was very happy to see. Yeah, this one is a pseudo-historical story, and it is a pretty good one. If you love the first Doctor era and his historical stories, then you will love Death and the Queen, because most of the first Doctor, William Hartnell's historical stories, are balanced out very well with comedy and serious storytelling, such as Marco Polo, The Mythmakers, The Crusade, and The Massacre. Very much similar to Death and the Queen, with balancing out serious storytelling and comedy. Yeah, this story at the start brings many laughs, such as the Doctor interjecting the moments between Rodolphe and Donna. It's pretty funny. Yeah, as I said, like Time Reaver, paced out a little bit slowly, but this is the difference between Time Reaver and Death and the Queen. You can feel the creepy, dark storytelling just slowly creeping in, just to slowly build it up and get you ready for this big epic moment. So it starts out with very fun and loving moments to something a little bit more serious, and putting Donna's character in a big dilemma. Yeah, Donna's character is utilised very well here. It's nice to see her do a little bit more of a role here and play a big part of the story. And this has made me like Donna a lot more, and the main reason why I want to check out Series 4, as Donna's just grown on me when I listen to this story. I said, this is a really good companion. So yeah, from the bio of the story is that Donna will be marrying to a prince who is Rodolphe. But yeah, parts come out in the progression of the story, and Donna's thinking to herself, I don't think this is a good idea, I'm thinking otherwise. But it's for quite a dark purpose of why Donna doesn't really want to, and you see a side of this character. Well, I won't go into that, but Rodolphe isn't a villain. But you will see what I mean when you know his intentions. And yeah, Death makes quite a quick appearance in this story. Makes his presence known, saying, I am Death, my bargain must be kept. And yeah, that line of dialogue is something quite big within the story, and it gets revealed what that is quite later on. One thing I would change, it is still pretty funny what James Goss did here, but I would have personally changed it, as it sort of bothers with the build-up, the dark build-up to it. There's a scene where Donna and Doctor knew the presence of Death, and Donna just said, oh, shut up to Death. That is pretty funny, but that is where I think it would be the perfect start to build up that just serious tension to it. So with that being done by James Goss, it sort of doesn't make the build-up start until later on, but that would have been the perfect place to start the build-up. So that's a little niggle I have, but still it's fine, it's funny, it does its purpose, but I would have done it differently. Yeah, the story soon after that turns into quite a nice Base Hunter Siege castle story, so if you love Base Hunter Siege stories, then Death and the Queen, you will love that element. And again, the quite nice build-up and tension leading up to the big massacre is done very well, even though I'm going to change that bit I discussed. And this is where the dilemma happens for Donna, as she's really struggling what to do now. So we're seeing really the intentions of Rodolphe's character now, and she doesn't really know what to do. But I won't say what she's going through, but let's just say that she's doing something she doesn't really want to go into, but she has to do it to defend the innocent people being murdered by this skeleton army. So Donna doesn't really have a choice, so she is put into quite a big dilemma. So yeah, Donna's getting a lot of the centre stage with this story, with the Doctor at times being a bit sidelined, but still what he gets, it is very good. He did get quite a lot of moments in Time Reaver, the Doctor, and Technophobia as well, so in my opinion. But it's nice for Donna Noble, he's getting a little bit more branched out, more developed, and gets the centre stage, so I personally like it. And for the other characters, we have the Queen's mum. she was really used as comic relief, really, and that's it. Not really anything else, nothing major to the story. Just really adding that character for laughs, I guess. When Donna and the Doctor interact with her, still, it's pretty funny. And then we have Hortense, which is Donna's assistant, and yeah, she was very good. She has quite a lot of bravery and ownership. And then we have the big guy himself, Death. When he appeared, he had quite a mechanical voice. So I thought, is he like a robot or something? But no, he isn't a robot. I just thought he sounds like a robot to me, with very mechanical voice. Yeah, the ending was a little bit odd. I still find the ending a little bit odd how it was handled. I probably wouldn't have not ended it that way. But I wish the Doctor danced with Death. It's happened before. It didn't add it in Death and the Queen. Or if the Doctor danced with Death, that would have been amazing. Yeah, it does it in Time We're in Revelation. But not Death and the Queen. Oh, how unfortunate. Anyway, with that being said, to conclude my review on Death and the Queen, it is a very strong story. It has very nice balancing of comedy and serious dark storytelling. Nice base into siege moments. Tension building in is very good. Character dilemmas and funny and witty dialogue. Well done, James Goss. Have a classic. So now to the overall conclusion of the 10th Doctor Adventures. Is it a good set? Well, I think I've made it out to be a good set, I think. So yeah, it is a very good set. It wasn't overhyped. That wasn't the problem with the 10th Doctor Adventures. So that is absolutely wonderful, because the worst thing that can happen is something which is overhyped. But this one, on my first listen, actually met my expectations. So yeah, this is a good set. I very much enjoyed it, but on my second listen, it was even better for me, so that is absolutely wonderful. And it did do something very good. I want to check out Series 4, like Midnight, Silence in the Library. I haven't seen those stories in absolute years. This set is absolutely a fantastic ride. You will very much enjoy it. The character performances is all great. All the stories are brilliant. It's top quality here by Big Finish, with the sound design, brilliant acting, and the well written stories. All well done. So well done to Big Finish, because this is a really good set. And it met expectations on my first go. And even better, it improved on my second listen. Jump cut, I run out of filming. But yes, we were just about to rate this set. So we have 1 9 out of 10 and 2 8 out of 10s that will equal 25 out of a possible 30. And overall, for a final rating, I think my first go of it I was thinking a 7 or 7.5, but as it improved a lot on second listen, I'll be nice and generous and give it an 8 out of 10. It did reach expectations, but I wasn't overwhelmed by it. Now, this is the thing with this set. Now, if the story is simplistic, that doesn't mean it's bad at all. No, it's not. But looking at this in Big Finish's perspective, they wanted to play this set safe. They didn't want to do anything out of the box or anything experimental, because they wanted these stories a lot more easier to follow, easier structured for the new Big Finish listeners. However, people who have been with Big Finish for quite a while will question and say, I wish you did something more out of the box. Maybe one of the stories could have been a little bit more complex. By looking at this, I would see new listeners rate this set maybe a 10 out of 10, a 9 out of 10. People in my position will probably only rate this set an 8 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10 or even lower. Because by looking at it, this set really does feel to me that it's just targeting new listeners. We're not doing really anything for the listeners who've been with Big Finish for a while. That is an issue I have with. But I still respect Big Finish's decision, because they wanted to play this set safe. So maybe they would be a little bit more experimental in Volume 2, I hope so. As by using common sense, I think they wanted to go down that direction, not to alienate new listeners. So yeah, this set is an 8 out of 10 from me. So I hope you enjoyed this review of the 10th Doctor Adventures. Did you love it? Were you underwhelmed, overwhelmed by it? Put it in the comments down below. It met my expectations, but I wasn't overwhelmed by it. So thanks for watching my review of the 10th Doctor Adventures, and I'll see you in the next one for the Showcase series. So see you in that video, and of course, have a good one.